Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and there has been a huge PTR balance update. There are loads of buffs and there are loads of nerfs. Reaper's been buffed. Hanzo has been mega buffed. Holy hell, Soldier has been nerfed. Let's quickly go over them in this video, but I will make other videos and go into more detail on what these changes mean because they are pretty ridiculous. There are also various UI changes that you will see in this video footage in the background. If you notice, the kill feed is different. It updates from the opposite direction now. It's smoother as well. It shows assists. The chat is smoother when that comes in. It sort of has like a bounce effect or like a fade in effect when the chat comes in. So there's like little changes like that to the UI. Anyway, let's get into the actual patch notes themselves and see what's going on. So the general changes, I guess these are kind of the boring changes. Players can now disable secondary fire and secondary weapons in custom games. You can now disable one Symmetra ultimate while leaving the other active. Alright, that's juicy. Genji. So what's happened to Genji? Remove the attack cooldown from Genji's wall climbing ability, allowing him to engage with enemies immediately after completing a climb. Developers comments, this is a quality of life change to make wall climbing feel better. And it will. Climb the wall and you can attack straight away. That's great. This is where we go crazy though, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hanzo. Hanzo has a mega buff. This is a mega buff. You can see by the footage in the background, I'm doing work on Hanzo. Good lord. So Hanzo, remove the attack cooldown from Hanzo's wall climbing ability, allowing him to engage with enemies immediately after completing a climb. This is much like Genji. But you'll also notice something else with this as well. Charged arrows now maintain their charge after climbing a wall, provided the button is continuously held. So that means if you pull the arrow back and fully charge it, then wall climb, as soon as the wall climb finishes, you can release the arrow. That is a massive buff. But get this, increase charge speed by 10%. You charge arrows 10% faster. That is absolutely huge. Developers' comments on this, decreasing Hanzo's draw time gives him more overall DPS. Well, no, yeah, it does, oh my god. While also letting him fully charge an arrow and more quickly return to full movement speed when needed. And, like the change to Genji's wall climbing, this is a quality of life change that will make wall climbing feel better. This makes Hanzo awesome. If this goes through onto live, because remember all of this is PTR, this can change, but generally these kind of things do go through onto live. Do not laugh at Hanzo mains, guys. You want them on your team, trust me, holy hell. Then we've got Erisa. So Erisa, she's had some interesting changes. So fusion driver, damage reduced by 15%. Obviously, she was doing too much damage. Now she won't. Protective barrier, cooldown reduced from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. So what they're doing is making her more defensive while doing less damage. You remember before, my issue with Erisa was she sort of put out loads of damage, almost as much damage as she absorbed. Now she's going to absorb more damage and put out less damage. So the developers' comments are, to help Erisa maintain the front line for her team, we're reducing the cooldown of her protective barrier. This change also helps her reposition the barrier more easily when needed. To compensate for this new defensive strength, we're reducing her fusion driver's damage as it felt too high. I think this is fair enough. Erisa is in a weird position, and I think this will help her be more of that choke defensive anchor tank that they wanted her to be. So this is a good change. This, though, is really funky. This is Reaper. This is a buff to Reaper. Very simple buff, but check this. Wraith form ammo is now entirely refilled when Wraith form is used. Funky. Developer comments, Wraith form is typically used as an escape ability after firing. This change gives Reaper a fighting chance if an enemy chases him down as he uses it. Which is true, right? When you see Reaper use Wraith form, you know he's running away. You chase him down, right? He probably hasn't got many shots left in his shotguns. You can take him out. But now there's going to be a bite in the tail, a sting in the tail, whatever you want to say. He's going to be fully reloaded and he's going to be able to pump damage into you. That is a really interesting change to Reaper, and it opens up a lot of possibilities because you could go in, start firing all your weapons off, Wraith form, and still be aggressive. Like, use Wraith form aggressively instead of using it defensively. This is going to be a really interesting change. Reaper is a hero that needs love. We know he needs love, and I thought he'd be a candidate for like possibly a rework, like McCree possibly for a rework. But this kind of minor change could actually be brilliant. It could be a masterstroke of Blizzard. Again, we're going to need to play with this to see how this works out, but on paper, this looks absolutely funky. Then let's move on to Reinhardt. So Earth Shatter. We all know Earth Shatter's got its problems. So effective height has been lowered from 3 meters to 2 meters. The height threshold of objects that Earth Shatter can climb has been lowered from 3 meters to 2 meters, making Earth Shatter less likely to climb tall objects as it crawls along the ground. Developer comments, Earth Shatter tended to climb unexpectedly high. No shit. Frequently hitting targets that were significantly above the ground. Hello, Farah mains, as you get Earth Shattered for some reason. These changes help the ability to stay more grounded. I see what you've done there. So this is fine, right? Earth Shatter is a really dodgy ability. It gets caught on all kinds of objects in the world and all kinds of stuff like that. So it does need looking at, and really it should only affect you if you're on the ground, shouldn't it? It shouldn't be pulling you out if you're like standing on some sort of high ground. We've all been there where you've like earth shattered things and it's sort of travelled up a wall way more than what appears to be 3 meters and has knocked people down. It is a really iffy ability, so it's good they're looking at that. But this is a big one. This is Soldier 76, and this is a nerf. Heavy pulse rifle bullet damage decreased from 20 to 19. It's only 1 point off, right? But I think this makes quite a bit of difference to Soldier, and this is going to be something that I'm going to have to get a few games in because I play a lot of Soldier, and I think I can already tell, like, there's been situations where I've been playing on the PTR just where it feels like I'm lacking a bit of DPS, which, let's be honest, Soldier is in a very strong position right now, so he does need to be toned down a bit. So I'm happy with this change, even as like a Soldier main, you could say. I'm very happy with this change. He does need something looking at him or doing to him to tone him down, and this is a very minor way of doing it, so we'll have to see if this works out. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been a recap of the PTR patch notes, which are available right now, and the PTR client is available right now. If you're playing on PC, you can go and download these and check these out. But the biggest news right now is that Hanzo buff is absolutely ridiculous. That puts Hanzo into a position of really powerful DPS, like sustained DPS, because Hanzo's problem was he was just inconsistent. Now he's going to be much more consistent, and I think it's much more than just being 10% consistent. It's very consistent. At least it just feels amazing. Hanzo does. Oh my god. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylo, so this is Unit Lost. There will be follow-up videos to this where we'll go into more detail on the heroes and see what this actually means for the game, but I am hyped. These are very good changes in my mind. Let me know what you think about them, guys, in the comments below. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Toodaloo.